And welcome students. In the last video lecture, I had explained you the different methods of collecting primary data, that is the direct inquiry method, indirect inquiry method and method of questionnaire. Now in this video lecture, I am going to explain you the characteristics of an ideal questionnaire, the two ways of collecting data by questionnaire, that is by post and by enumerator, the advantages and disadvantages of both the methods. So let's start with it. You can see on your screen there is characteristics of an ideal questionnaire. Now the first characteristic of an ideal questionnaire is every questionnaire must have a covering letter or an appropriate title so that the reader gets clear idea about the purpose of study. It means while preparing the questionnaire, while designing the questionnaire, which points should be considered or taken into mind so that the proper or ideal questionnaire can be prepared and desired response can be obtained from the respondent. So the following characteristics should be there in an ideal questionnaire. The first characteristic is every questionnaire must have a covering letter and appropriate title. It means the purpose of study should be clearly identified through the heading or the title of the questionnaire whenever he receives the questionnaire for the first time. Easily he should understand the reason for which this questionnaire has been prepared. Next one, that is number of questions should be minimum as possible. It means a fewer number of questions have greater chance of getting better response from the students, from the respondent. It means if number of questions are less, then we can get easily the information from the respondents, because naturally if the questionnaire or the question paper is more or lengthy, then in case of students you feel bored or tired in completing the question paper or in filling the answers of that question paper. In the same way, if the questionnaire is having more number of questions, then it would create less response for the respondent. Long questions discourage the respondent to provide accurate answer, particularly towards the end of questionnaire. There is no specific rule for exact number of questions. It means there is no perfect criteria as to these many questions should be there in a particular questionnaire. But if more number of questions, like suppose there are more than 25 questions in a particular questionnaire, then it becomes tiresome for the respondent to answer those questions. So in order to get better information from the respondent, the number of questions should be as minimum as possible. The next characteristic is the number of questions should be consistent with the purpose of inquiry. Suppose we are collecting the data about the study habits of students of standard 12th, then whatever the questions, number of questions, that should be consistent, that should be relevant to the purpose of study only. It means our study is related to the study habits, then 10 to 12 questions, that is enough to collect the inquiry about the study habits of students of standard 12th. Whatever the study of inquiry, whatever the purpose of inquiry, accordingly the number of questions should be there in the questionnaire. The next characteristic is question should be simple, short and understandable. It means the question should not be very ambiguous, should be easily understandable and should be short. Very long questions, then it would be tiresome and the respondent would not cooperate with the enumerator. They should not be ambiguous. It means double meaning it should not create. It should be easily understandable and simple question should be there. They should not be ambiguous and dual in meaning of educated. For example, if the question is asked, are you educated? Then the respondent cannot understand the meaning of educated, because education means, does it mean up to secondary level, does it mean higher secondary level, or does it mean up till primary level? So that question becomes an ambiguous question. Instead it should be asked, what is your educational level? So the question should be not be ambiguous where double meaning is created of or dual meaning is created of the same question. It should be easily understandable and simple and short question should be there. Next one, that is the arrangement of questions should be logical. It means the order of questions should be from general to specific. Suppose previously I had given the example that to collect the data about the study habits of standard 12th, a questionnaire is prepared. So first of all, you cannot ask that in which medium are you studying, and then afterwards you will not ask the name of the student. The sequence or the logic of question should be maintained. The logical question should be there. Suppose another example I am giving, that is, what is your opinion about smartphone? Do you use smartphone? This is the improper arrangement. The first order is, do you use smartphone? If they give the answer yes, then what is your opinion about the smartphone? So question should be logical arranged. After getting the answer of the first question, the second question should be such that it should be related to the first answer. So order of the question should be maintained, and that should be logical. The next characteristic is questions of sensitive nature or personal life should be avoided. For example, questions relating to marital status, income of respondent, etc. If such questions are necessary in the survey, an assurance should be given to respondent that the information provided by him or her will be kept confidential and will not be used for any other purpose. It means, first of all, any of the personal questions related to his personal life should be avoided. But if the survey for which you have prepared the questionnaire, if the questions related to his personal life is required for your study or for your inquiry, then it should be given a guarantee or assurance that whatever the information that he will provide, that will remain confidential. So first of all, you should avoid that type of questions, and if compulsory required for your questionnaire or your purpose of study, then guarantee or assurance should be given to the respondent that it will be not disclosed into the public. It will kept as confidential. The next characteristic is answers to the questions should be free from any calculations. It means, for example, they are asking what is the average income of the earning members of your family. So they have to use the calculator, and they have to count. By their mind, they cannot easily calculate the average income of the family members of that particular family. So better we should avoid such type of questions in which there is any kind of calculations that is required. So avoid that kind of questions where calculations is there for an ideal questionnaire. Now the next characteristic is the last but not the least, that is the questions having answers yes or no or multiple alternatives should be asked. It means descriptive answers, subjective answers should be avoided, in which they have to write the answer in 2 to 3 lines. That type of question should be avoided. Better it is the multiple choice questions, that is multiple alternatives are given or answer should be in yes or no. Then the respondent would give immediate answers and would take not much time to give the response of the questionnaire. Now, after understanding the characteristics of an ideal questionnaire, let's understand the two ways of collecting the data by the method of questionnaire, that is questionnaire by post and questionnaire by enumerator. First of all, let us understand the meaning of questionnaire by post. As you can see on your screen, after preparing an ideal questionnaire, it means we have already studied the characteristics of ideal questionnaire. After preparing the ideal questionnaire and keeping in mind the characteristics of it is dispatched by post to respondents from whom the information is to be collected, along with a request to complete and return it in a given period of time. It means after the questionnaire is prepared, ideal questionnaire we have prepared, we are dispatching it by post. We are not going it personally to the respondent, from whom the information is to be collected, along with a request to complete and return it in a given period of time. It means we are sending it through post to the respondent, and we are requesting them to complete the or fill up the questionnaire and return it during the stipulated time period. Now, therefore, it is necessary to send a blank envelope along with the questionnaire to all the respondents bearing the address of investigator and proper postal stamp. It means naturally it is for our interest, for our benefit, for our information that we are giving the questionnaire to the respondent. So naturally we have to provide a blank envelope bearing the address of the investigator or the enumerator with proper postal stamps, so that they can fill up the questionnaire and then can post it again to the concerned address of the investigator. Since the answers to the questions are to be given by respondent themselves, it is essential that the questions and questionnaires are clear, short, simple, relevant and self-explanatory. It means it is by post. So naturally, if it is not personally by the enumerator, then he cannot explain or clear the concept if there is any ambiguous word in the question. So it is better that the questions should be clear, short and simple, and it should be easily understandable to the respondent. So no any extra clarification is required. That type of easy questions should be asked in the questionnaire. But nowadays, instead of the postal stamps, instead of the envelope, the technology age is there. That's why the use of computer and mobile phone is being done, and through that only the questionnaire is sent to the respondents. Now let us understand the advantages of questionnaire by post. The first advantage is it is quite useful when the field of investigation is very vast. Naturally, if the area of the respondent or the area from which the data is to be collected is very wide, then personally to go and meet the respondent and fill up the questionnaire, it may not be possible. So this method is quite useful when the field of investigation is very vast. The next advantage is this method is simple and it provides large amount of information with less expense. It means at a time you can send the questionnaire to large number of people, and it is quite simple method, and large amount of information or data can be collected with very less amount of expense. The third and last advantage of this method is information can be obtained from those areas where it might be difficult to reach personally or by telephone. Now, if you want to collect the data about the farmers of a particular or the data about the people residing in the Adivasi area, then maybe that it may not be possible to reach there personally, or even telephone or vehicles may not be available over there to reach at that particular place. So in that case, this method is more appropriate to send the questionnaire by post. So these are the advantages of questionnaire by post. Just as there are advantages of this way of questionnaire by post, same as there are disadvantages also of questionnaire by post. Let us look at it. First one is when respondents are illiterate or non-cooperative, this method becomes useless. You might have written the questionnaire and posted it and to the respondent. Now the data or the respondent is not capable enough to read that questionnaire because he himself is illiterate, and sometimes it may be possible that he may be literate but he is not cooperative. He does not want to collect the data by this method, or he do not want to give the desired information to the concerned authority. Then in that case this method would become useless. This is one of the disadvantage of questionnaire by post. The next disadvantage is sometimes information provided by the respondents may not be correct, or they may return incomplete or blank questionnaire to the investigator. It means whatever the answers they have written, the respondent, whatever the answers they have written of the questions in the questionnaire, sometimes they may not be correct also. They might not give the true information, or they may not write. Suppose there are 20 questions in the questionnaire, out of that they are giving answers of only 15 questions. They are keeping certain questions as blank, keeping as nil, dash, or they may give incomplete answers to any particular questions. Then in that case this method becomes not proper to collect the data about the concerned survey. So if they are not responding, if the respondent does not give the correct answer, or if they give incomplete answer to a particular question, or certain questions they may skip it out, then this is one of the limitation of questionnaire by post. The next disadvantage of this method is there may be loss of questioner or the delay in getting the information because of the laziness of the respondent. It means we are sending by post. If there is a delay in getting the questionnaire by the respondent, then naturally he will give it or respond it also, it will take a time. So it may take that loss of questionnaire may happen because we are not personally handing it to the respondent. So delay may happen in getting the response from the respondent. So it may happen that loss may take place of the questionnaire while we are posting it. In between of the transportation, somewhere the questionnaire may be lost also, or even after getting the questionnaire, the respondent may not give immediate response to the questionnaire because he might be lazy and he may not be cooperative enough to provide the answers of the questionnaire. So this is one of the limitation of questionnaire by post. The last disadvantage of this method is there is a lack of assistance or a person who clarifies the instruction or gives explanation of questions that may arise. It means if we are meeting personally to the respondent and if in any of the question he is having doubt or he could not understand any of the question, then easily we can clarify his doubt or can provide the relevant information or instruction or explain the question. But that cannot be possible in case of questionnaire by post because we are not personally meeting that respondent, we are just sending it by post. So we cannot clarify the doubts or provide the proper explanation about the questionnaire. Now, after understanding the advantages and disadvantages of questionnaire by post, let us move on to questionnaire by enumerator. Because seeing the limitations of questionnaire by post, the new way of providing the questionnaire has been developed, that is questionnaire by enumerator. It means you can easily understand that here the enumerator personally meets the respondent and he himself writes or fills the questionnaire by collecting the information from the respondent. As you can see on your screen, there is in this method enumerators themselves contact the respondents and get response to the questions. Here instead of posting the questionnaire by post, the enumerator himself personally contacts the respondents and gets the response of the questions. Enumerator himself fills the questionnaire. Sometimes the respondent may be illiterate or he may not be that much cooperative or he is that much busy enough. So he himself fills the questionnaire. Here the enumerators should be enthusiastic, polite, honest and efficient in their work so that they can extract correct answers to the questions by providing relevant and supplementary information to the respondents. Now in this method or in this way of questionnaire, the whole main role is being played by the enumerator. The reason for is that because it depends totally on the enumerator how he present himself. He should be polite, he should be enthusiastic and efficient in his work while collecting or extracting the information from the respondent. And while collecting the information, he should be able to have patience to deal. He should know how to deal with the respondent. He should respect his work, and while providing the questionnaire, he should also provide the supplementary or relevant information to the respondent for which purpose they are doing the survey, and should give the introduction and the basic idea about his study of inquiry, so that trust can be developed amongst the respondent and they will respond in a proper way. So questionnaire by enumerator, it totally depends upon the honesty and efficiency of the enumerator. Now, after understanding the meaning of this method, let us understand the advantages of questionnaire by enumerator. The first advantage is the complete, correct and more relevant information can be obtained. But natural, whatever the limitations were there of questionnaire by post, in which we were not able to go to the respondent and meet him personally. So relevant information or complete or correct information we were not able to get by questionnaire by post. So that limitation is overcome in this method and it has become advantage of this method. That is, as the enumerator personally meets the respondent, so complete information correct information and relevant information to the study of inquiry can be obtained. Next one, that is enumerator can get proper information by giving proper explanations to the respondents who are illiterate or non-cooperative. There are certain areas from which the data is to be collected and the respondents are illiterate or illiterate, so they do not understand or they do not read, they are not able to read the questions. So in that case, by this method, the enumerator himself may read the question, give the proper explanation about what kind of information they want from the respondent. So easily the information can be available from the respondent. Or if sometimes the respondent is not illiterate, he is literate, he is able to read and write, but he is not cooperative, it means he do not neglect such type of inquiry, and he himself feels that what is the use of such kind of inquiry and is not cooperative, then in that case also the enumerator, if he meets personally and convince him about the importance of this study of inquiry, then naturally good and correct information or complete information can be obtained by this method. The third method or the third advantage of this method is there is no problem of loss of questioner or incomplete answers to the questions. Now students, whatever are the limitations of the first method, that is questioner by post, that becomes the advantage over here. To overcome that limitations or disadvantage, the new method or new way of collecting questioner is that questioner by enumerator. The third advantage of this way, that is there is no problem of loss of questioner, because personally the enumerator collects the data, meets the respondent personally, so there is no loss of questioner because he himself carries that questioner while contacting the respondent. Or incomplete answers to the questioner, there is no problem of loss of questioner because he himself personally meets the respondent and carries the questioner with himself. And incomplete answers, in case of by post, it totally depends upon the respondents and upon the cooperation of the respondent, where he may not give complete or correct information what has been asked in the questionnaire. But in case of questionnaire by enumerator, he personally meets the respondent and explains the questions properly, so he can get complete information about the concerned respondent. So incomplete answers can be avoided in this questionnaire by enumerator. Next one is the information obtained is more reliable and more trustworthy, because the interpretation of whatever the answer that has been given by the respondent can be done in a proper way if we personally meets that respondent, and that cannot be possible in case of questionnaire by post. Whatever he writes, we may interpret it in a different way, but by personally meeting we can interpret whatever his answers in a correct and proper way. So the data or information collected by this method of enumerator, that is more reliable and more trustworthy compared to questionnaire by post. Now after understanding the advantages of questionnaire by enumerator, same as there are disadvantages also of this method. So let us study. The first disadvantage is sometimes it is quite difficult to get expert enumerators in sufficient number. We already discussed while understanding the meaning of this method, that is questionnaire by enumerator, that the entire main role in this method is played by the enumerator. He should be honest and efficient in his work of collecting the data from the respondent. He should be patient enough and should have a good approach and dealing with the respondent. So if the sometimes it is quite difficult to get experts, so such type of trained or expert enumerators, it is difficult to get so in sufficient number. So that is one of the limitation. If the proper enumerators or expert enumerators are not available, then the information may not be collected properly and the correct information may not be available by this method also. The next disadvantage of this method is due to large number of enumerators, the remuneration paid to enumerators increases the total cost of inquiry. Naturally, for different areas, you have to appoint different enumerators. So the number of enumerators would be more in this kind of method of collecting the data through questionnaire. So if more number of enumerators are appointed, then naturally more amount of salary has to be paid to the enumerators. This increases the total cost of inquiry. So the costing wise or expense wise also, this expense is unaffordable. The next disadvantage of this method is it is very difficult task to train the untrained enumerators for the inquiry. Suppose enumerators are untrained, then it is very difficult task to provide training to such untrained enumerators. Because it is very difficult to get trained enumerators. So we have to also opt for untrained enumerators. If they are untrained, then training is provided to them, but that task is very difficult task to provide the training to the untrained enumerators for the purpose of inquiry. The next disadvantage is this method becomes unsuitable when the respondents are spread over a wide area. Because if the area of inquiry is very widely spread, then personally each and every time to go at the place of the respondent and collect the data, that is very difficult, time consuming and lethargic and tiresome process for the enumerator. So it becomes unsuitable when the respondents are spread over a wide area. The last but not the least disadvantage of questionnaire, which we cannot neglect of this method, that is enumerators have to adjust with the convenient time of respondents, or sometimes enumerators have to visit 2 to 3 times to the same respondent. It may be possible that when the enumerator visits the respondent, that may not be convenient time for the respondent. He may be busy in his own daily routine activities, or he may be involved in his personal life or business. Then he may not be having the proper time to respond to the enumerator. Sometimes enumerators have to visit 2 to 3 times to the same respondent. If in the first meeting he could not get the desired information from the respondent, then he might have to visit that particular respondent 2 to 3 times in order to get a satisfactory response from the respondent. So these are some of the limitations of questionnaire by enumerator. Among all the 3 methods of collecting primary data, that is the primary data, direct inquiry method, indirect inquiry method and method of questionnaire, there is no definite rule for using a particular method. It means it depends totally on the study of inquiry or the type of inquiry, which method is suitable. That is decided by the particular research organization or inquiry department. The selection of method of inquiry basically depends on the following aspects. It means which factors are responsible while choosing any particular method of collecting the desired information. That is, first one, spread of the area under inquiry. If the area is very wide, then questionnaire method is more appropriate, and questionnaire by post is more appropriate in that case. The purpose of inquiry, it is a very important purpose, then very critical or crucial issue, then naturally direct inquiry method would be more suitable. So it totally depends upon the purpose of inquiry. Accordingly we have to choose the method of collecting the data. The monetary provision, it means if the financial condition of the institute who is collecting the information or collecting the inquiry, study of inquiry, if the financial status of that particular institute is sound, and then it can opt for the direct inquiry method or by questionnaire, by particularly meeting the respondents. So it depends upon the monetary provision also. The time frame, if it in limited time we want to collect the data, then indirect inquiry method or questionnaire by post, that would be more appropriate method. The next one, that is possibility of getting expert enumerators. If the expert enumerators are not available, then instead of direct inquiry method, it is more suitable to collect the data by indirect inquiry method or questionnaire by post. And the standard of accuracy, if we want to have the accurate and correct and proper information, then we have to opt for direct inquiry method or questionnaire by enumerator. It means he should personally visit the respondent. So these are the main selection aspects on the basis of which the method of collecting the data is dependent. So that's all for today, students. In the next video lecture, still will be continuing with the last topic of this chapter, that is sources of secondary data and the precautions while using secondary data. Till then, keep practicing by referring from the video lectures that we are sending it to you. Goodbye, students. Take care. Stay blessed.